Hi kittens, and welcome to Cat Talks. My name is Kat, and today I'm going to be responding to some agent feedback. So a while ago I received my first ever full request for my querying manuscript, Servant of the Snake God. You might remember it because I posted on Twitter like and I danced around the house like this. Servant of the Snake God, SOSG, or Sausage, is my debut novel. It is the first fantasy novel I finished. It's certainly the first novel I finished that I liked, and I'm really proud of it. It follows two main characters, two women from the Snake God Temple, who realise that the temple is kind of more of a corrupt place and try to escape it. It's essentially the story of what would happen if a villain had the power to heal. There is a lot of inequality in the city, and there's a lot of things that were hidden from our main characters. The dual main characters is so important to me. It's really important to see the friendship of these two women grow, and the way that they tackle problems and kind of like learn to trust each other is really important to me, so I definitely didn't want to get rid of that. However, the agent feedback states, unfortunately, we don't think we can take it at this time. It's a really great premise and you've built an amazing world, but there are a lot of POV issues in there. We had trouble determining whether it was supposed to be omniscient or you were head hopping. It was a little bit disorientating while reading because you had to read some parts twice in order to make sure you knew who was thinking and feeling what. We would recommend, with the content of the book, changing the point of view to a close third person, and to help you with this, you know, there are some websites that we would recommend. So I took more than a few days to dwell. I think I received that email about a month ago and I have ignored it ever since, and actually I stopped writing as well because it was painful and I felt like a bad writer and I felt like I didn't have anything to give to the world. However, I am now back. Let's roll up our sleeves, brew a cup of tea, and get back to making sure that my novel tells the best story that it can.
So what the agent means here by head hopping is that the point of view will change randomly within a scene from person to person. So here is an example. Eliza watched Morris for a few seconds. She felt as though she knew him deep down, soul deep, and although she could not know why, she trusted him. Now that is from Eliza's point of view. A few paragraphs later we have this. He, Morris, wasn't sure why he suddenly felt so underfoot. The women had asked him in here after all. So now there's nothing wrong necessarily with omniscient point of view or head hopping in this way because, I mean, for example, Jane Austen does a lot of this. We often see a character's point of view for only a paragraph or two before we go back to the main action. However, Jane Austen isn't quite as tied to her characters as I am, and also I am no Jane Austen. So let's get in here and sort some point of view issues out.
Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is read through my novel and write a scene map. Now this is a kind of alteration of an idea by Melissa Caruso. She wrote the Tethered Mage series and you should absolutely check it out if you enjoy high intrigue political fantasies. And yeah, she wrote this idea out on her blog about how she manages scenes and tension and stuff like that because she has a lot, as I said, of political intrigue. So she needs to manage scenes where nothing happens, scenes where they're sitting and talking but it's high stakes, and scenes where there's actual action and people are running around and stuff. I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to write out all of the scenes in my novel. Hopefully it won't be more than 2 pages because handwriting. Then I'm going to colour code those scenes with who I think should be the main character for that scene, who should be followed by the third person point of view, and try and make sure that they alternate-ish and that we get to see that it's very clear whose point of view the scene is, and also make sure that I personally don't deviate from it. From this angle you can see the mess behind me. I know I'm thinking it wasn't a good idea, but we'll see. am done making my list. It is approximately 1.5 pages long, which is a lot of scenes. But yeah. And I also took some notes on that I want to do to make the book stronger that aren't to do with viewpoint. So now I'm going to go through and just highlight all of these scenes to decide who should be telling the story. I'm actually kind of tempted to add some viewpoint characters other than just my two, but I'm not going to do that because that would be crazy. But I'm like, maybe I could have this other dude. No cat. Stop. Blue and orange is good enough, right? So if we have blue for Tiana and orange for Eliza. I might still do it. I might still have like random viewpoint characters, but for now. So I think what this reveals is that although the beginning is quite blue heavy, the ending is really orange heavy. So I really need to add a scene probably just before this chapter where the blue story wraps up. I quite like the way that the orange story is here. I've got to change the way that this one is done to orange, and I think I'm probably going to change this one is actually orange and it needs to change to blue. The additional viewpoints that I might try and do, I'm going to just mark really quickly in green. But I don't think I will do it because again, that's crazy. But I really want to. But yeah, I don't think there's enough to support him being a viewpoint character because he's just like a street urchin who happens to be in a gang. But yes, so now I know what I should be doing. Let's do it. Also, while going through, I realized what they meant. Like, there's a lot of random paragraphs that will be from the love interest's point of view or from the gang leader's point of view that really don't, like, there's no reason for them to be in a different viewpoint except that I wanted to convey an emotion. So I think when I did this, I was definitely a worse writer than I am now, I hope. That's always the dream, right? That you get worse as you go further back in your writing career, better as you go forward. But anyway, so I really want to re-go through this, maybe even rewrite it, some sections of it definitely, and make sure that the viewpoints are really tight and clear. And that maybe even, for the most part, the viewpoints should be the same throughout a chapter, which means I can mark that chapter as from that viewpoint, which would be really good. I've noticed that I tend to do about 2 chapters in a row from a particular viewpoint, which is interesting. So it's time for a snack. So I actually think I'm going to have to buy Scrivener. I have been using Google Drive and I do really enjoy Google Drive because obviously it syncs, so I can use it on the phone and this computer and the other computer, but it's just so slow now because the novel is, I don't know how long the novel is. Whoop. Around 83,000 words, and Google Drive is just dying on me. It's so slow to type. Like, I type and then I see the words appearing several seconds afterwards and I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm probably going to have to convert it. I'm going to like try out Scrivener and convert it into a Scrivener file or something because this is untenable. 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 That's not a word, is it? Still, the edit's going well. I have about 9 minutes left of my 35-minute timer before I can go out, and I'm on scene 4. I'm on scene 4, so I've kind of like edited this one and this one and this one, and I'm on library eavesdropping. So it's not all bad. And then after that, I'm going to go outside the house, probably take some of the giant pile of recycling down, and buy myself some threads, so embroidery thread. Because that's my prize for writing, and I deserve it. And also because the embroidery store is going to close for 3 weeks because the owner's going on holiday. And I need my threads. So I have run into my first problem applying the agent feedback, and that is that Eliza, the healer, is blindfolded when she has to work, and so she's currently healing someone. There's a whole chapter where she is healing them, and obviously she is blind, so she can't see certain things. So that's where I think the viewpoint changes maybe are interested. Like, I need to work on how I kind of convey that these things are happening around her, even though she's blind and therefore blinded, and therefore can't see them. I'm not sure how. Like, I mean, I guess you can absolutely do it, and I'm hopeful that I can with my limited skill as a writer, but yeah, it's definitely a problem. She's only blinded for this chapter, I think, and one other, but it isn't from her viewpoint. Yeah, the other one isn't from her viewpoint, so I think that this chapter will be the hardest chapter to make sure that it's all third person limited and that we're not getting little snippets of what everyone else is thinking and doing around her when she can't see them. Dash. So only a minute left before we go out to town. Boop, 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 boop. So I just got back in, as you can see by the clothes that I'm wearing. I actually don't know if you can, but I'm wearing jeans. I don't wear jeans inside, but I am boiling. It's really warm outside. It was really cold the rest of the week, but today it has been absolutely boiling. So I'm going to get changed into some shorts and finish up the edits for chapter 2. So we've just started chapter 2, which is the one with the change in focus. all in all today I wrote for about 3 hours, I think, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not the best day, but it isn't a bad day. I thought this was so helpful, like just having an overview of all the scenes that happened in my novel is helpful in and of itself, but then colour coding them by whose viewpoint it should be and making sure that it stays true to that person has been really helpful. I've already finished the first 3 chapters and I'm going into the 4th now. Oh. And I'm going into the 4th now, which is our first swap back, I think, from Eliza to Tiana, so that should be interesting. And I'm really enjoying it. I think it's gotten a lot stronger through this. I want to do this again, but colour-coded exactly as Melissa Caruso did for tension, for things that add tension and build the stakes, and then things that just kind of like add information. And then I'm going to do this a final time to compare it with the story beats, the like classical 9-part story beats, just to make sure that the novel is tight. And then after I do all of that, which is going to take a couple of months, I'm sure, I'm actually going to resubmit to that agent because I really enjoyed their feedback and, you know, why not? And then I'm going to start submitting to other agents again. I'm probably going to only submit to another 9 agents before I retire this manuscript for now, or possibly send it to an editor for self-publishing, because I don't like agents rejecting me all the time. But other than that, I really enjoyed this process and I feel like the novel, like I said, is a lot better thanks to that agent feedback. So if you want a video dealing with agent feedback, then please leave a comment down below or hit that like button so I know, and I will get one for you. If you want me to do a video of my first experiences trying out Scrivener, then please just comment with the handwriting emoji again down below. I am planning on starting a new book soon and I would love to hear if you guys want to hear my experiences as a first-time user of Scrivener, and if so, as I said, pop the little handwriting emoji down below. Alright, that is it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this writing vlog. If you did, don't forget to hit like and thump that subscribe button, as hard as that agent thumped my dreams of being an author. And I will see you guys next week for more bookish content. I love you very much. I hope you have a great book and an awesome cup of tea, and I will see you next week.